The best advice I've heard about base building in Clash of Clans is to figure out which compartments works best for you. If you think about your base as exactly that, the sum of all its compartments, then you already understand about half of what base building is all about. This will be the focus of today's base building video, a special two-part feature on the channel that outlines the fundamental principles that goes into any good base design. Let's get started. So the first thing you need to understand about TH9 base design is what structures to protect the most. In other words, you need to understand what is valuable so you can force opponents from a certain direction or make the opponent's attacking objectives difficult to achieve. I personally always start my base designs with a centralized clan castle. This will make it difficult for your opponents to get a lure, so they will need to either deal with the troops in your clan castle on the fly or invest heavily into the lure. The next thing to think about is where your archer queen will be. There are many base designs that I've seen where the queen is towards the outside of the base, but I personally prefer it to be closer to the center. Obviously, it won't be at the very center due to the clan castle, and this will ultimately incentivize opponents to come at that very direction. So we've just reviewed two of the most highly coveted structures that your opponent will have to think about in order to successfully land a 3-star attack on your base. You will protect your clan castle troops by centralizing it, but how exactly will you intend on protecting your archer queen? There are a couple good options to consider. First, it is ideal to place high hit point storages in front of your queen, effectively delaying troops from quickly reaching her. The next thing to do is to place your barbarian king next to her, and potentially some Tesla towers. Well-placed Teslas or Tesla farms might surprise the opponent, leading them to fail on the queen kill. And the barbarian king will aggro troops onto himself as opposed to the archer queen. Finally, you need to place a bomb tower next to her to defend her from skeleton spells, which frequently accompany La Lune attacks. Although your defense might be working hard to pop those lava hounds, the bomb tower can't hit air and can do splash damage to those nasty skeletons. The next thing to consider is your Expo compartments. It is advisable to place Expos by themselves in a 9x9 compartment, followed by shallower compartments next to it. This will make it difficult for troops to funnel into the Expo, particularly balloons and hog riders, which will just make a circle around it. Moreover, this creates dead space where bowlers and queen walks cannot reach. Although the Expo might look accessible to ranged units, the Expo cannot actually be touched without a jump spell or wall break. Notice how the top Expo is set to air, which is ultimately why it is surrounded by cannons. The Expo will effectively grant these cannons protection from air troops. The Expo on the bottom, on the other hand, is on ground, so by using random wall pieces to fill the void of its compartment, we can push the Expo further away from the exterior wall to make the most of its increased range. Since it is on ground, it is advisable to place archer towers next to it. Both Expo settings are viable in the current meta, and it's ultimately up to the discretion of the designer which mode to use. The next thing we should talk about are those air defenses. It might seem unintuitive, but you want to place air defenses towards the outside of your base. Placing them extremely centralized is also an option to entertain, but is susceptible to queen walks, witch slap attacks, and any heavy kill squad really, with back-end loons. At the very least, you cannot afford to place them symmetrically, as lava hounds will attract all the fire from your air targeting defenses while the balloons come in behind to take them out. Last but not least, let's talk about those wizard towers. Wizard towers are some of your best defenses against balloons and hog riders. An objective of the enemy's kill squad will be to surely grab these structures early in the raid. This is why it makes sense to clump them all up and place them away from your archer queen and air defenses. This will essentially spread the value of your defenses across your base, forcing the attacker to choose which objective to take and which objectives to leave behind for another phase of the attack. While cannons should be placed near air defenses, archer towers work well with wizard towers in the absence of nearby air defenses. If you follow these general guidelines and combine these compartments into a complete, cohesive base design, you will get a product that looks something similar to this. This isn't to imply that this is the only base design out there that you should use or that this is the best base design. But all good bases look similar to me, and they should to you too, since they all share these same guiding principles as laid out in the video. There are a few things we didn't get to cover in this video that is crucial in fully understanding this base layout, but those details will be coming shortly to you guys in the second part of the series. I hope you guys are psyched for more.